Onwards to a habitually serious topic. For the last part of this spread, we will be talking about 5.7 cancers. If somebody ever asks you what 2 things you should never get throughout the span of your life, one of those answers that you're going to give them has to be a cancer. Now, I can't really explain the feeling of having to go through a cancer. You have to experience that. Having to go through a cancer is one thing, but watching somebody you love go through a cancer, it's worse than getting a cancer on your own, in my opinion. Of course, opinions are going to vary a lot, but to this day, that is what I believe. Okay, enough with the yapping. I know, let's get to the lesson. Okay, what do I have displayed here? It's not relevant to the introductory point. This picture was put in here to grab your attention because you would not listen to a blank screen. Now let's move to the right side of this. I'm going to give you a small introduction to cancers themselves. Most of the time, we don't really understand the underlying principle of what a cancer is. We think, oh, cancer. We treat a cancer like a pathogen, like a bacterium, like a viral infection. Yes and no, there are similarities between both scenarios, but you have to understand at the molecular level, at the cellular level, what is happening. Cancers are simply uncontrolled forms of cell division. You know, when it comes to cell division, which is what this chapter is all about, it's very regulated. It is a very regulated process, if you ask me. Now, we have not talked about that regulation part a lot under this level, but the cellular division process is highly regulated. But the moment these regulatory factors fail, cell division becomes uncontrollable. Mitosis becomes uncontrollable. The cells will constantly divide. What happens if that happens? This is going to result in the formation of an irregular mass of cells. So, you know, cells are dividing, and now we have a clump, a ball of cells. This ball of cells is otherwise known with a very famous name. We call it a tumor. We call it a tumor. And there's another very nice term that is part of cancer biology and cancer study. That is carcinogens. These carcinogens mutate genes that control cell division. Remember how I told you that cell division or mitosis is a very well regulated process? Yes, we have genes on a molecular level under our DNA to control this cellular division, to control mitosis. The moment carcinogens mutate these genes, they become something known as oncogenes. The moment our genes are becoming mutated, we have oncogenes. Okay, but here's the thing. Now, I just told you that these carcinogen thingies mutate, so therefore I'm giving you a vibe like it's going to destroy. Yes and no. Why am I saying something like that? The thing is, mutations are normal and they are very common. Mutations are not a bad thing. We need mutations to survive. We will not be selectively evoluting if we don't have mutations. Evolution will not be a process if we don't have mutations. More on that later throughout this spread. I think you do have. So here mutations are very normal and common. And most of the time they are destroyed by the immune system. Now, I told you that mutations are good. No, they're not all bad, but sometimes we can have harmful ones. Most of the time, the harmful ones, why am I misspelling so bad? These harmful ones, they are destroyed by the immune system. But here's the deal. The moment something escapes mutations that are undetected, those are the ones that keep replicating, forming tumors. That's the thing. Now, I told you carcinogens mutate genes, so let's look at some examples for carcinogens. One of the best, it's very bad to call it best, but one of the worst carcinogens are ultraviolet light. And you know about tar in tobacco? X-rays are carcinogenic. Carcinogenic meaning cancer forming. Cancer forming. X-rays. And there's something known as, you know what? No, I'm not going to give you that yet. These are some examples for carcinogens. That is the basic intro to this small cancer segment that you have under this topic. Now let's move back to this. I told you that these pictures were just to get your attention. I was correct, and I was also kind of wrong. Here we are actually looking at two types of tumors. Two types of what? Two types of tumors. The first kind of tumor you are looking at is known as a benign, a benign tumor. The second kind is known as a malignant tumor. Here you're looking at a benign tumor. Do you see it's very calm, it's contained, and it's not doing any harm. If you look at the malignant tumor, it's wreaking havoc. It's not contained, it's broken, it's spreading everywhere, and that is the exact idea you have to get into mind. Benign tumors are okay. Benign tumors are okay. So I would describe benign tumors as tumors that do not spread from their site of origin. So wherever they form, they just stay. So they don't cause cancer. They are just these cell masses that are formed, and they don't move anywhere. They don't go and block arteries. They don't go and block your digestive system. They don't go and block your nervous system. They don't go and block your, what other systems do you have? Yeah, whatever. Those, they don't block anything. They don't destroy biological function. But on the other hand, as you can see, malignant tumors are the opposite. They break away and therefore can destroy your entire biological body. So malignant tumors break off from the site of origin and block arteries, intestines, and any other form of biological, what do I put it? Biological vascular systems. So tubular systems, arteries, intestines, those stuff are intestine and form secondary growths. The moment they form secondary growths, again the same thing happens. So the cancer cells divide. Then you get another ball of cells, another tumor, and it spreads again. So this keeps happening all around your body. You have many secondary growths, and this is when usually patients are called terminal. There's no recovery. If you identify a cancer during its benign stage, you are almost promised 100% of a recovery. But if you screen for cancers too late and doctors, how do I put it? Doctors conclude no. Doctors prescribe no. I apologize. My vocabulary is getting destroyed today. If doctors diagnose you as having a malignant form of a cancer, chances of recovery are very, very low. Now, this Formation of secondary growths, this spreading is actually called a scientific term. It's almost like malignant. You call this metastasis. See? Evil words, if I may. Malignant, metastasis, they sound evil and they are evil. You should totally be afraid of them. Quick summary, cancers are uncontrolled, divided balls or masses of cells known as a tumor. These are formed from mutations, usually by carcinogens. Here are some examples for carcinogens. We have two types of tumors, benign and malignant tumors. Benign tumors are good, malignant tumors are bad. A little good cop, bad cop action.